guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Diana with Creativity Inc. And today, as every video that I give you guys, I'm going to show you guys what I got over the weekend. And it was a Disney kind of blast from the past. I got some coins that maybe they were important because they were in a frame, and some old tickets. Now they're not that old, but you know, they're good for ephemera. I plan to do a Disney themed journal, and so I figured these were nice ephemera pieces for that journal, and that's why I was excited about it. And also the mother load of stamps. Now last week I got a stamp holder, and this week I was blessed with stamps, so it works out. But you know, they're not the same stamps that go on my stamp holder. And this is a box that I picked up. Well, not a box, I grabbed one of those grab bags from Michael's that they were like $1, and in this bag it so happened that it was a bunch of letters. Now for this project I wanted to spell my channel name, which is Creativity Inc., because I had, you know, the project in mind. My project in mind was grabbing those, making it like a faux, what is it called, letter press types, or you know, the vintage press stamps that were used to make like newspaper and stuff like that. Now I didn't have all of the pieces that were needed, so I had to be creative and make letters that I were missing out of the ones that I had. The only one I really bought was that big C. That's because my daughter's name is Candy, and I saw it at the dollar store, and I picked it up because I figured one day I was gonna maybe make a journal for her or something, but I ended up using for my logo. She'll understand. Anyway, so once I figured out my name, then I figured I wanted to buy um, pieces of wood, like little strips of wood, like 1x1s or 1x2s and stuff like that, and like attach these, and you know, make it simple, make it to the short and to the point, sort of. But as my scatterbrain didn't let me work that way, it made me I saw the letters, and I saw something else, and I saw different things. um I started changing my mind, and I started seeing other things. Oh, and I saw this A, this like cursive A that I turned into an I. Now I don't know if in your eyes it looks like an I. In my eyes, it kind of did, but sometimes it didn't. So let me know what you guys think at this I that I made up. So instead of using wood for the bottom of the bases of my logo or my name, my channel name, I did a book for the C, and it was just an old book. For the R, I did a stamp, just a stamp I don't use. And for this E, I had a lid. For the A, I had a leftover, some kind of piece of wood for, I think it's for decoration and trim. For my T, I use this little tin, it's like a little notebook that I made out of a soda can. For an I thought maybe a frame. I wasn't too sure about it. For a V, I had this slice of 4x4, very old 4x4. Out of my made up I had this old little book. For a T, I saw a slice of tree trunk. And then for the Y, I have this kind of like, it's a jewelry box, like where you buy jewelry and it comes in this little box. And it's actually like the perfect size for the Y, so I figured I use it for there. Now, I'm still not sure, guys, so I'm just showing you guys kind of what I think. I had this matchbox that I was thinking maybe I can use and put I don't know, one of the letters. I thought that E would fit good, kind of snug, but good. You know, the Altoid tin can will also probably work, and put something there. And I don't know, it was just a lot of things were going through my mind as I was trying to figure out um, things to put there. I made this so complicated, but at the end of the day, you know, it kind of worked out. So I start by painting my. I still kind of wanted to feel like if it was one of those type pressed. So I was going to use the letter itself, as if it was stamped at some point in its life. So I wanted to give it that wear and tear on the actual letter. And then once I did that, I was going to marry that letter to whatever structure I decided to glue that on. Now, I believe that's easier said than done, but I guess the thought is to keep what counts, but not really, because if you don't do it, it ends up looking wonky. So this video actually here is a little longer than my usual videos, but even then, this process in my actual life it took me like maybe 3 or 4 days. It took me forever, but I hope you guys enjoy my craziness. Please don't judge me, but it went from like one point of this to another. Anyways, to make it more worn out, more vintagey, I noticed that the type press letters were like kind of waxed, and that's because they use that ink and they keep on cleaning them. Um, so I wanted to kind of feel that same way, so I started putting coconut oil on my letters and see if it gave that shininess, that worn out kind of feel of that letter. And for this stamp, what I did is I just sanded the logo off of it. I left the stamp on there just because I wanted to still be known and be remembered as it was a stamp block. I don't use this stamp. My husband went to a um, I don't know, garage sale, passed by or something. He picked me up a box of stamps that I don't use, but I just don't want to give them away because they're a gift. So this is one of those stamps. So it reminds me of that time as well, I guess. Now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm actually talking about it. So now I guess now it's more important, right? But anyways, I just noticed that it's a rose and a R for rose. Get it? But I don't know. Anywho, um, this letter, I also noticed with all my research of letterpress that the blocks themselves are different color than the letters sometimes. And I could see that because if sometimes it's a different kind of wood, like if they chose oak rather than pine, or redwood and stuff, so the block itself would probably be different, whereas the letter will kind of be resembling the same because it was ink, and in the letter always absorbed, I think, most of the ink. I don't know, but I wanted to kind of play with the color senses of it as well. So in this one, I put a little bit of that caramelish brown on that block, and I wanted to sand some of it off. Sanding it off, I was in a way taking away some of the paint, and in a way, I was roughing up the letter. So this is me going back and forth trying to get those tones that I wanted to get on this letter. I guess this was also fun for me because I like experimenting with colors, so this was yet another way to experiment with colors and antiquing techniques that I can figure out. For this E, I went with the terracotta color. I washed it out, and I noticed that for me it looked a little bit orangey, but now that I can see it on the screen as I'm doing this editing, it doesn't look that orangey, but in real life it looked very orange. It actually looked to me in real life like a pumpkin. So I wasn't too happy with it. So when I went back to sanding it and taking it off, I really wanted to take as much of it as possible because I didn't want it to be orangey. I wanted it to be more of a different kind of tone of wood rather than orange. So to me it wasn't too happy. So I went back with my brown and I tried to hide that orangey tint, but that I'm seeing it on screen, I kind of like the color. I don't know. But I went back and forth with the brown. Now I this material, which is compressed wood, I mean particle wood, sorry. It wasn't working off with me because I work with water and paint and sanding it. So it was kind of falling apart in front of me. It was kind of like um I don't know. It was lifting up particles, but so I just let it be because I didn't want it to like look funky at the end of the day. And this little decoration that I had, I don't know why I had it, but it's a little decoration that you use on moldings of kitchens and stuff like that. So what I did is I decided I wanted this one to be that stain color. So I did the watered down brown, a little bit of black water on there, and after you apply kind of like a watered down tone, I do the wiping, and it kind of resembles to me like a wax, not a wax. I'm sorry, like stained wood. So I was kind of going basic with the A, but I just added a little bit of black, and I think it turned out all right. After I was done with the color, I liked, which was just the brown and the black. I did a little bit of sanding, and I did that technique where I put the coconut oil on these letters just because I really want to have it all with that coconut oil. Now, I don't know if it's gonna look like it is, but hey. So I did this little booklet out of a soda can, and I show it more in detail in another video that I did about soda can craft. And I wanted I don't use it, so I have it like a little shelf, just show like kind of like displaying it. I figured if I'm gonna display it, might as well display it here in this project that I have going on. So I decided to use it. It's a perfect size for my tea, tea for tin. But I honestly didn't plan my letters according to where I was putting them on. I honestly didn't, but I feel like some of them kind of like, fell together. Like this one, like the T for tin and the rose for R for rose or something. I don't know. But in this case, I decided to match the T to that little case, and I painted it silver, and I put a little bit of black on it, and I put that little rusted corners on there as well, so that it would look like the T was there when I did it all along, and it wasn't separated there from there at all. And after that, I did my shadowing, which I try to do in all the letters, just so that it looks like, when you wipe a stamp or when you wipe something down after you use it, it leaves that residue between the letter and the other surface. Just because when you wipe, it doesn't, the the rag or whatever you wiped it down with, I feel like it wouldn't wipe those little corners quite so well, so it would leave that residue. Now that's just in my head. I don't know if it's in yours, but in my head it made sense. Now for the eye, after all that commotion, I decided to do this tan, this little Altoids can, and I wanted to bring in that green again, so that because even though I wanted them to look like their own individual letters, I also wanted them to be like a family. So I brought that green from that first book that is on my C, and um and then I used that in the green. In the green, I didn't do it on the eye. I think this is the only letter that doesn't have the same color that the tin has, just because, I mean, the base, just because, I feel like, I don't know, I don't know, I just noticed that I didn't. For the V, I did that little block of wood. Now this is a very old piece of wood that my husband that I would enjoy by having it sliced, so he did different thicknesses of slices of this 4x4, and this is how old your 4x4 is. If you measure a 4x4, um, and it's a true 4x4, that means it's an old 4x4. If it's like less than 4x4, then you'll know it's not as old as as the other ones. The original size is a 4x4, and those were the actual 4x4 size. Anyways, I feel like I should tell you guys, this is the one piece I struggle the most with, and I know it's probably the simplest one, but in reality, I struggle with this a lot. But nevertheless, I just used like two colors. I think it was just gray and black. I think that's what it was. And at the end, I used a little bit of that caramel just because I wanted to bring that wood tones in there because that gray was too gray. It wasn't like earthy. And I wanted to keep that same color that was on the side of the slice. And I wanted just to replicate it and bring it up to the front. That was my goal. I don't know if I accomplished it too well, but that's kind of what I was going for. And after much playing with it and sanding and painting and taking off and put it on, it kind of came close to where I wanted it to be, and I just didn't want to invest so much time in it, so I let it be. As for my next letter, the I, remember this was an A. I turned it into an I. I'm going to paint the book blue because I like blue and I love blue. And I don't see anything done without blue. My son's name is Blue, and I've always liked blue. And I don't know, I just like blue so much, so I couldn't leave it out, and I feel like I had to paint something blue, so I made this book blue. But um, but it was the only blue thing I had in this project, and at 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 the beginning when I first finished my letters, I felt it was like sticking out like a sore thumb because it wasn't earthy, and it wasn't and it was the only thing blue. And I figured it was okay because who cares? I like blue and it's okay if it stands out. But I didn't want it to look like it didn't belong or it was popping out. So I had to do something about it. And you guys will see what I did about it. Once I attached my eye, I feel that I wanted to bring that the same technique and the same thing that I did to all the letters. That way, kind of tied it to the project, but so it wouldn't stick out like a sore thumb. And so I did the antiquing on the corners. I did a little bit of darkening here and there, and I did the same thing where I go back with the watered down black and went to around the letter, and in corners where here and there where I would feel that the black would sit there and wouldn't wipe off as well as it would on other areas. So then I decided to add a little bit, a hint of green, um, just very subtle, so it wouldn't look like just one tone, just one blue and black kind of attitude. And I wanted to put a little bit of green. At the end of the day, I take it off as a lot, so you don't see it as much as this video. I think I take away most of that green. Um, so yeah, I don't think I keep any of that green, but it looks cool. So if you guys want to look at it, here I can see that you guys can see that I took most of it off, but I thought I'd show you something that I tried, so you guys could, if you guys want to try it on your project. um I took it off because it was looking, since it's close to this other green eye that I used on the tin. It was looking like it wanted to be like this other eye, and I wanted it to be its own personal identity. You know what I mean? So I decided to rust the can without rusting the can, and I went back with my rusting colors, which is a brown, a caramel um, looking, and I think it was a yellow mustard color. And in reality, you can use any colors to rust or antique anything. It just has to show that something is happened to your piece, and that either took away some of the color, or it has some wear, or it was sitting in water, or it was sitting in some sort of, or it was used in some sort of way that makes it look older, used, kind of like not ruined, but ruined a little in some sort of way. So it doesn't, colors, the rusting colors don't necessarily need to be um the colors of rust, which is like, you know browns, reds, and yellows. That's why I don't use that much red in my rusting. I think in this piece I do, but I don't use a lot of that red in, wait, do I use a lot in this one? No, actually I don't use red, do I? No, I just use the orange, like terracotta, and that gold mustardy caramel looking color. Now for the tree slice, I think it was the easiest one that I did. I just left the slice of tree as it was. I think I did a little bit of watered down brown around on the edge of the tree, just because when I sanded, I noticed that bark was looking a little bit washed out, and I really like the bark of the tree. So what I did is, with watered down brown, I went back and brought out just some of it. I don't want it to be ashy. I want it to be rich brown, and so I did a watered down kind of like a brushed of brown to just to bring it back out again. After I brought back the bark, I attached the tea and I painted it brown and black, and I did that watered down black all around the tea. I did a little bit of sanding because I wanted also to. I think I put too much black, so I just wanted to also use the sandpaper to take some of that black out, and it was looking like a melted black. You know what I mean? Like if I put a tea of black and it was just melting on this tree slice, and I didn't want that to happen. So I went back to my eye and I did a little bit of more touches just because I do that a lot, even sometimes to the stuff that I do for you guys. I would go back and sometimes change things and not record it, but just for my own mind and my own purposes. I always go back and change one thing or another. And for my little box of jewelry box, I decided to kind of convert it into like a suitcase. And so what I did is I grabbed that mustardy yellow, or it's like a Tuscany yellow. I don't know what would be the best explanation for this yellow, but it's not a yellow yellow. It's like a mustard. That's the best way I can explain it. And I weathered it down, so I did watered down browns and blacks, and I wanted to sand it. I don't know if I did. Let me see. I guess you guys can see if I sanded or not, because um I feel like, the luggages look like they went, like when they get scraped and stuff like that. They look like the leather's being like ripped off from the suitcase. So I kind of wanted to go with that, but because I don't know if you guys could tell, I'm putting a lot of water and brown, and I'm going back and forth, and it got a little bit of weak. The structure was getting weaker, and I didn't know if it was gonna take it. So um, as I was continuing, I think I decided not to. But I was doing black, watered down brown, and on the Y, I think I just used mostly that wiping down technique when I used most of the brown, and then I put a little bit of black on it. And um, on all those letters, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but make sure you do the the rim of it, like the edges of the letters, because it has that wood color. So I just wanted to make sure it was incorporated onto the letter. So on all the trims of the letters, I always used either that black or that brown, so that it doesn't look new, because the letters are new, so it doesn't look new. So make sure you guys grab or paint the the edges of your letters. It just gives it that much detail, that depthness of feel of the feeling. So I'm making straps for my leather, my suitcase, and I'm just making sure that I grab all my my strips. I have a bunch of these like spare strips from those file folders, those green folder dividers or folders. I don't know what they would be. They're the ones that the green folders that hold file folders. So I don't know if they're file holders. I don't know, but I have some strips of those, so I decided to use two of those. and this is what it came out. I have my collection of rulers that I didn't know how to journal, junk journal, so I decided to display it. So you guys could see here, I used the book. I decided to make put in here this book divider. I made it in one of the videos. I show you guys how to make that dome and how to put that butterfly. I mean, I show every step by step of this book divider if you guys want to look in another videos. I will post it up here in one of these corners. My stamp, my lid, the little decoration, the tin, the book. I used a can book corner. It's also a video that I made. So if you guys, I wanted to put it here because I love that craft. I think it's one of best ideas I've had, where I use can to make book corners, book corners or book protectors. I put a little bit of what is it, aqua blue I did on it just to make it different, and then I did a little bit of little stickers so it looks like it was a traveled suitcase. I wanted to add maybe, you know, the different like little trinkets to the luggage, but I didn't have time. And I did do the ink little logo. I just cut it out of the board. These are all my letters, I mean my rulers, and I had to put it on my bench, work at bench, because it was so big. I did this book in the previous video. I showed you guys how to, I made a mold for that butterfly root. I use these roots out of I'll make a video how do you make those roots. They're natural roots from fruit actually. So I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm gonna junk journal or this, but this is what's gonna be under my desk. It's like my desk has a little pocket under the glass, and I want something for there. Now I'm just gonna, when I make my videos, I'm just gonna have to work with that glare. I have a few ideas that I need to try. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It helps other people know that I'm here creating stuff like crazy for you guys, and I do appreciate it. And you know, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I have a lot of more videos planned for you guys. I have more videos on crafts and junk journaling. Those are the things that I really love. I love creating. Thank you guys so much. Please stay safe out there. Till next time, see you guys soon. Bye.